أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. We seek the protection of God from Shaitan, who has been expelled from God's kingdom of special mercy. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We humbly turn to God and ask for His special grace and guidance, because He is the all-perfect one, the all-merciful one, and one whose special grace and mercy is available to the believers and the good doers. Alhamdulillah. والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطاهرين. And we send our salutations and greetings on the Holy Prophet and on his holy progeny, who are the best guides for mankind till the end of time. Elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. One of the medium-sized surahs in the Quran, which is quite meritorious in reading, is known as Surah Dahr, chapter 76. It has 31 verses. Portions of it were revealed in Mecca and some in Medina. In the riwayat, we're told that the merit of reciting this surah once a week, especially on Thursday morning, is that the individual will be granted specific reward in the Jannah and also the company of the Prophet. Man qara'a surat hal ata kulla ghadati khamisin, every Thursday morning, زوجه الله من الحور العين وكان مع محمد صلى الله عليه وآله. He shall be given the company of the Prophet and rewards in Jannah. Another riwayah says that whosoever recites this surah, Surah Dahr or Surah Insan or Surah Hal Ata, man qara'a Surah Hal Ata, كان جزاؤه على الله جنة وحريرا, that he will qualify to deserve to receive Jannah and the specific rewards of Jannah as mentioned in this surah. جنة وحريرا, in ayah number 12, Allah says, وَجَزَاهُمْ بِمَا صَبَرُوا جَنَّةً وَحَرِيرًا. The implication, of course, is it is not the mere recitation of this surah that will enable this individual to be given this reward for free. The fact that the reward for recitation is the same reward which is mentioned in the surah for those people who are virtuous gives us an indication that the reason for the reward is the same reason those virtuous people will be rewarded. And if we are to look at all the different virtues that are discussed in this surah, and if we were to summarize all of them into one main virtue, it is that virtue that leads to Jannah. وَجَزَاهُمْ رَبُّهُمْ بِمَا صَبَرُوا جَنَّةً وَحَرِيرًا. The most important virtue a mu'min has to develop is sabr. And the reason sabr then protects the individual from sins. Sabr then strengthens the individual to commit himself to devotion. Sabr then strengthens the faith of the individual not to begin to protest or to complain against the afflictions of the dunya. This centrality of sabr will then qualify the individual to get the thawab of Jannatan wa Harira. So we need to see how the recitation of this surah strengthens our faith and then leads to sabr. How the recitation of this surah strengthens the commitment to do right. How the recitation of this surah strengthens the willpower to avoid sins. It's these three which create the sabr, which then lead to the reward. If I can quote Marhum Ayatollah Bahjat, may Allah raise his station, he would say that the best way to reform yourself is to look at what you know and to act upon it. And then he would say that for those who can, they should refer to a hadith, one hadith a day, from the hadith narrated from the Imams of the Ahlul Bayt about akhlaq. Just read one hadith a day and ponder over it, reflect over it, and see how you can act on it. So for example, consider this hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, where the Imam says, Imam tells a person, إِنَّكَ قَدْ جُعِلْتَ طَبِيبَ نَفْسِكَ. Remember that you have been made the physician for yourself. بُيِّنَ لَكَ الدَّاء. Whatever your ailments are, Allah has shown it to you. What are your spiritual illnesses and sicknesses if you read the Quran? وَعُرِّفْتَ آيَةَ الصِّحَّةِ. And you have been shown what are the signs of health, the signs and the symptoms of disease, spiritual disease, and the signs and the symptoms of health. وَدُلِّلْتَ عَلَى الدَّوَاءِ. And you have also been given the dalil and the proof and the evidence of what is the cure for that ailment. فَانْظُرْ كَيْفَ قِيَامُكَ عَلَى نَفْسِكَ. Now what you need to do is check yourself, evaluate, assess, and see where you stand as far as the illness and the health of your spiritual state is concerned. And the cure is clear. So it is not the mere recitation for the sake of recitation of this surah. Recitation with translation, translation with reflection, reflection with evaluation, evaluation with determination to act on the message of the surah. That's when we can expect the result of Jannatan wa Harira. Before we go into the details of every verse, just a quick bird's eye view of the main themes that are covered in this surah. The 31 verses can be broken down into paragraphs. Ayah number 1 to 4 can be taken as an introduction, which is a discussion of man's creation, the purpose of his creation, and how he has been empowered and enabled to achieve that purpose of creation. Paragraph 2, the longest part of the surah, is ayah number 5 to ayah number 22. The description of who the abrar and the virtuous are, what do they do, what do they believe in, and therefore what is the reward promised to them. So in one sense, this surah can be called the Suratul Abrar also. This is one of the most detailed discussions of the Abrar here. Paragraph 3, a short paragraph. Ayah number 23 to ayah number 26. O Prophet, you are faced with circumstances which are difficult, where you are facing opposition and resistance and denial. What should you do? Make sabr. Do not come under the pressure of the evildoers. Remember God constantly and make sure that you make sajda. So instructions to the Prophet, how should he face the opposition? And therefore these are the same instructions for us. If we are to face overwhelming challenges the way the Prophet faced in his stage of tabligh in Mecca, whenever we are faced with the same overwhelming circumstances, how should we gain strength? The same way the Prophet did. Ayah number 27 and 28, the description of the opposite or the contrast group. In opposite to the abrar are the ashrar. What is going to happen to them? That we have created them and we have total power over them and we have warned them. The problem with them is the dunya has entrapped them and snared them. And finally, the conclusion. O Prophet, so now we have shown you what the abrar are. O Prophet, we have also explained to you who the ashrar are, why do they think this particular way, and what is our plan and scheme for them. Conclusion. the consequences of the deeds of the abrar and the consequences of the deeds of the ashrar definitely shall be meted out and given to them. وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ. We have shown the way. And the way is very clear. You have to make your choice. If you make the right choice, you'll be rewarded. If you make the wrong choice, you'll be punished. That's the end of the surah. This end of the surah is directly related to the introduction of the surah. The introduction is, we made man, we showed him the way, we gave him the choice to choose the way, we empowered him to make the right choice. Question, now the test. Is he going to make the right choice or not? Those who did make the right choice, abrar. Those who failed to make the right choice, ashrar. You will face ashrar at all times. Look at what the Prophet did. How did he face them? And the end result. Don't give up. Don't give up hope. Allah is the one who plans everything. Allah is the one who is moving the universe to its goal of creation. It shall be achieved willy-nilly. Nobody can stop him from achieving that aim. This is an overall view of the main themes covered in this surah. Let's look at the details. So, the first 4 verses talk about the introduction before talking about the 2 groups, the abrar and the ashrar. Ayah number 1, it reminds man about his beginning. Your beginning was insignificant and not worthy of mention. Ayah number 2, if you want to really appreciate how your beginning is, recall you were just a fluid to start with. And then we made you into a full human being with all faculties. Ayah number 3, once you were ready, we guided you. We showed you the way. And then we gave you the choice. Either choose and accept or deny and reject. But remember this much, ayah number 4. If you choose to deny and reject, then don't ever doubt our power to apprehend and to punish. Forget about we apprehending you in the future and begin to prepare for the punishment in the future. No, we've already done it even now. It's all ready. He just said, you are asleep. You're not aware. You don't see the reality. These are the first 4 verses. Let's go into the details. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا. The ayah starts with a question. Has there ever not come a time on man, a long period of time, when his state and his being was such that he was not anything? Or if he was something, it was something not worthy of mention. He was insignificant. It's interesting, look at the tone of the ayah. The ayah is posing a question. Man, ponder and reflect on your beginning. Where have you come from? If you feel so proud, I'm independent, I'm intelligent, I'm smart, I work hard, I can do anything I want, I have total freedom. Look at your beginning. What were you? Where did you come from? Was there not a period of time when you were nothing? Or if you were something insignificant and not worthy of mention? Question. Or no, sometimes somebody may ask a question, but it is a more effective, dramatic way of making a statement, an assertion. So, the mother may say to the child who may be rebellious, when you were small, have I not breastfed you? It's a question. You don't need to give the answer. The answer is very clear. It's an assertion, an affirmation, a statement which is very clear, but posed as a question. So the ayah either is asking us to think, or no, the ayah is making such a clear statement that it is posed as a question whose answer doesn't need to be given. Answer is known from the depths of every individual being. Nobody can deny this one fundamental reality about himself and herself. There was a time when you were nothing, period. هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا. لم يكن شيئا. There was a stage in your being when you were nothing. لم يكن شيئا. You were nothing. Nothing so that you could be even referred to and mentioned. Basically, you were not there. So what do we refer to? That could be one reading of the ayah. Another reading of the ayah is Lam yakun. You had a state before which was shay, which was something, but not madhkura, worthy of mention. You were there, yes, but so insignificant, so scattered that it wasn't you. So if we assume that the beginning of man is, let's say, from the sperm and the egg, and if we say that the sperm and the egg is formed in the adult human beings, and they are formed from the very chemicals that are delivered to the reproductive system from the blood, which are derived from the digestive system, which is coming from the food, which comes from the earth, which is either from animal food or from plant food, and which is basically from the earth. So who are you? You began from chemicals that were there in the earth, scattered. What was your state before you started? Either you were nothing, that's before creation. Oh yes, you were something, but not worthy of mention, not worthy of reference. It wasn't something we call concrete, complete, total, a human. No. In fact, scientists go one step beyond. I will come to the spiritual meaning of this a little later. Let me just make a cross-reference. In another surah, this same statement is made, that your beginning was from a stage when you were nothing. In Surah 19, that's Surah Maryam, ayah number 67. Notice the reason why Allah makes such a statement is because there are human beings who deny their beginning from God, number one, or no, they don't deny that, but they reject and doubt the possibility of life hereafter. And because this surah later on discusses the reward for the abrar and the punishment for the ashrar, and therefore that depends on life after death, so right in the beginning, the question of the possibility of life after death must be established. So notice in Surah Maryam, chapter 19, ayah number 67. وَيَقُولُ الْإِنسَانُ, and man says in doubt, in rejection. Not man only at the time of the Quran, even today. Even the scientifically trained mind has this question, has this doubt. وَيَقُولُ الْإِنسَانُ أَإِذَا مَا مِتُّ, when I have maut and I die, لَسَوْفَ أُخْرَجُ حَيًّا, I will come back to life after I die and I'm buried and my body disintegrates and it's dispersed in the earth and I'm destroyed. I will come back to life? Question, wondering, surprised. Surprised to say, no, it's not possible. Once you die, you're finished, you're gone. The ayah responds in the same way that in Surah Yasin. وَضَرَبَ لَنَا مَثَلًا, Surah Yasin chapter 36, ayah 78 and 79. وَضَرَبَ لَنَا مَثَلًا, he comes and plays drama before us. He takes a crumbling, he takes an old rotten piece of bone, he comes and plays a drama, he crushes and crumbles, the bone scatters. ضَرَبَ لَنَا مَثَلًا قَالَ مَنْ يُحْيِي الْعِظَامَ وَهِيَ الرَّمِيمُ, who is going to bring this powder back to life? We've never seen something happening like this, so it can't be done. It's not possible, it's impossible. قُلْ, In Surah Yasin, the answer is قُلْ يُحْيِيهَا الَّذِي أَنْشَأَهَا أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ وَهُوَ بِكُلِّ خَلْقٍ عَلِيمٍ. O Prophet, tell them, the answer to this drama that you are making is, where did you come from to begin with, the first time? You began from nothing. The very same power who could do it the first time can do it a second time. The same argument is presented here in ayah number 67. أَوَلَا يَذْكُرُ الْإِنسَانُ. Man, try to reflect on your beginning. أَوَلَا يَذْكُرُ الْإِنسَانُ أَنَّا خَلَقْنَاهُ مِنْ قَبْلُ وَلَمْ يَكُ شَيْئًا. We created him in the beginning and he was nothing. Surah Dahr says he wasn't anything, or he wasn't anything worthy of mention. If we say no, these two verses are talking about two different stages. So man comes from a stage when he's nothing. In fact, when anything and everything was nothing. And the second stage, he was something but not worthy of mention. What do you mean something and not worthy of mention? There's an interesting theory presented by astronomers. These are the different stages of star formation, star birth, star life, and star death. In the beginning stages, stars are a collection of dust particles, cosmic dust particles scattered. Gradually they coalesce and they aggregate and they come together. In the center part, when enough gravity attracts them and enough temperature builds up, it ignites and begins to undergo the nuclear reactions which produce the heat and the light, and that's the birth of the star. And the life of the star average about 10 billion years. Our sun is supposed to be in its middle age right now, 5 billion years. It's got 5 more billion years to go. After about 10 billion years, the picture on the right side, the star dies. It either dies and becomes a dwarf, or it undergoes a supernova explosion which scatters. Sasa, the interesting thing is this: the majority of the atoms in the universe are hydrogen and helium. They are the lightest elements. Lakini, on the earth, we have more than 90, more than 100 elements. Question, where did they come from? Answer, the stars. This question of stars being born, and they live, and then they die, under the extreme, extraordinary temperatures at the core of the stars, in tens of millions of degrees, these light elements are forced to bind together and form medium-sized and heavier elements. The heavier elements we find today on Earth, which in different permutations and combinations then can produce life, those elements came from the stars. Think about it. Me and you are made up of organs. These organs are made up of tissues. These tissues are made up of cells. The cells are made up of macromolecules. Macromolecules are made up of big elements. The big elements are made up of smaller elements. These elements, which make us up today, have come from billions of years ago, from the stars which were born and which died. We had a phase in our life when we were something, but not worthy of mention. هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر. Allah is talking about a long period of time. Dahr is a very long time. Perhaps this ayah is trying to tell us that your beginning was billions of years ago, but you are in a format, in a form, insignificant, not concrete, not complete, not worthy of reference, human, not worthy of reference, man, not worthy of reference of a specific identity. So, this is one meaning of the ayah. Man, reflect on your beginning. You were insignificant, or in fact you were nothing. In the riwayat, notice this hadith of the sixth holy Imam. Imam alayhi salam says, "Lam yakun shay'an madhkura." It means that kana madhkuran fil ilmi walam yakun madhkuran fil khalqi. It is not true that he was not mentionable and he was not worthy of reference absolutely. He was not worthy of mention in creation. In creation he did not have a complete form. But in God's knowledge, oh, he was there. If we believe God is ever living, one, and if we believe He's all perfect, two, and therefore He's all knowing, three, and therefore His knowledge is not limited by time and space, four, there, and if He's above time and space, five, therefore, though we are bound in time and space, the knowledge about us is not bound in time and space. So yes, we underwent in our physical being a state when we were not worthy of mention, but there was somebody who knew about us. Not only He knew about us, He planned us. We are here because of Him. So lam yakun shay'an madhkura, that's referring to creation, physical creation, but doesn't necessarily mean that we were totally and absolutely nothing. We were at least in God's plan, in God's knowledge. Ayah number 2. Inna khalaqna al-insana min nutfatin amshajin nabtalihi faja'alnahu sami'an basira. So we underwent a phase in our creation when we were nothing or not anything worthy of mention. But then we did become something, or something worthy of mention, so worthy of mention, this fluid, that if an abortion takes place at a particular stage, the parents are accountable and they have to pay diya. And the riwayah says, the Prophet ﷺ says, the moment you know of conception, give a name. Give a name. Allah on the Day of Judgment not only will bring to account, but Allah will reward this act. Give a name to that unborn child, even at that stage. So we undergo a stage when we are nothing, or we are something not worthy of mention, and then we become something worthy of mention. That is at the stage of this fluid, this drop of mixed fluid. But why did God bother to collect the elements, different elements, give them this particular organization and structure, and then give them this particular plan so that they follow that plan and then assume this fluid form? And then this fluid form which is mixed. Mixed of what? Well, basically mixed of, obviously, the male and the female reproductive cells, the sperm and the egg. Mixed of what? Mixed of different cells. Mixed of what? Mixed of different components. Mixed of what? Mixed of characteristics from the man and the woman, from the father and the mother. Amshajin, he has been created not from a unit which is uniform. It is a unit which has got different components, which leads to diversity and differences in the creation. Min nutfatin amshajin nabtalihi. Why did God take the trouble? So that we may test Him. The wordings are interesting. Allah could have said, I created man from this particular stage. But He's using the plural form, and obviously there must be a reason for that. In the Quran, both these references are available, where Allah refers to the creation in the singular and also refers to the creation in the plural. So for example, in some surahs, Surah Iqra, Surah Alaq, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Iqra bismi rabbikal ladhi khalaq, khalaqal insana min alaq. Allah is the one who has created man from this stage of blood which looks clotted or congealed. Or, for example, in Sura Rahman, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Ar-Rahman, Allama al-Quran, Khalaqa al-Insan. God is the one who created, singular. Yet in other verses, Allah doesn't talk in singular, Allah talks in plural. For example, in this ayah, for example, in Surah Teen, وَالتِّينِ وَالزَّيْتُونِ وَطُورِ سِينِينَ وَهَذَا الْبَلَدِ الْأَمِينَ لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. We are the ones who created man in the best of forms. No man, no human being is ugly in God's creation. So what you're looking at is ugliness maybe in physical appearance. But Allah is all beautiful. Allah is all perfect. And therefore His creation cannot be but perfect. He has given perfection to every human being. Not necessarily external. Internal, yes. Internally, every human being is a wonderful, lovely creation. Because it's the expression of the love of God. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. Or in Surah Qaf, chapter 50, ayat number 16, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ وَنَعْلَمُ مَا تُوَسْوِسُ بِهِ نَفْسُهُ. We are the ones who have created man. So, plural sense could mean one of three things. Plural to indicate power and greatness. We, meaning with our total grandeur and majesty and power we have created. Or no, we meaning Allah has created a whole system which is hierarchical, where the supreme command comes from above, goes down to the angelic world, from the spiritual, down to the physical, down to the earth, down to the different laws, physical, chemical, biological laws that govern the universe. And all of them are in total obedience to God. إِذَا السَّمَاءُ انشَقَّتْ وَأَذِنَتْ لِرَبِّهَا وَحُقَّتْ. The totality of the heavens, all of them are in total obedience to God. وَإِذَا الْأَرْضُ مُدَّتْ وَأَلْقَتْ مَا فِيهَا وَتَخَلَّتْ وَأَذِنَتْ لِرَبِّهَا وَحُقَّتْ. They are in total obedience to God. We, the totality of the system which works right down to the smallest element in total obedience to the will of God, we created. That could be the second meaning. There is a third meaning which is spiritual, which we'll skip for the moment. So we are the ones who created man, and we have created him from a drop of fluid. Do you doubt? Do you doubt life after death? But look at yourself, you began from a fluid. If you could take a fluid and transform it over a period of 9 months to a wonderful, beautiful, fully formed human being, definitely he has the power to do it again. وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ مُطْفَةٍ أَمْشَاجٍ. It's a mixture. نَبْتَلِيهِ. And the purpose is not to play, the purpose is not passing time, the purpose is very serious. We have created man to test him. We have given him a potential to grow, to develop, to improve, to perfect himself. We have enabled, empowered, and facilitated him with all the necessary faculties to enable him to achieve that goal of perfection. And the two most important faculties, فَجَعَلْنَاهُ سَمِيعًا بَصِيرًا. We have given him the power to hear the message of the truth. We have given him the power of sight. We have given him the power to see the truth. One of the best ways to learn something and therefore to bring about a change is through hearing. Better than that, to see it. Better than that, to experience it. Better than that, to do all the three things together. If you want to remember something, the chances that you won't forget, they're the least if you just listen. They are more if you see. They're even more if you practice and experience it yourself. And obviously they are the best when it's a combination of all the three. So we have given him the basic faculties, the abilities, to be able to achieve the goal of creation. And therefore that is our proof. You learn not only by hearing but also by seeing. So is man created from a fluid which is mixed? Yes, this is artificial coloring, it's not the true color. The egg in blue and the sperm is yellow. So it's a mixed fluid. One meaning of mixture, male and female. It brings genetic characteristics from both sides. Mixture of different cells. Cells keep on growing till it floats and implants in the uterus, and then within 1 month he's already developing the basic faculties of hearing and seeing. Look at the eye bud and the ear bud. And then by this time, 12 weeks, 3 months, starts kicking the mother. Hello, I'm here. How are you? I can hear. I can hear. But I can't see. My eyes are closed. The first things we're supposed to do is make adhan after birth. But even before that, during the process of pregnancy, to be in constant remembrance of God definitely affects the developing brain of the child. Let's pray to Allah to get the tawfiq to be able to read the surah with understanding, with translation, with reflection, and with determination to act upon the message of the surah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.